Good evening, my resilience family. Guys, it has been a while since I've been live. So you guys that are listening and you're listening later, thank you. Thank you very much. And I miss you guys. I really miss you guys. A lot has happened over the time, guys. But I just want to say happy Thanksgiving. I hope all had a wonderful, wonderful Thanksgiving. And guys, it is the last day of November, guys. It is Men's Health Month. I tie it into Men's Mental Health Month, all of that, where we celebrate the men, where we encourage our men. And what better today than the guest that I have on November 30th, 2025, other than Tommy G. Guys, this is one for the books. We're going to learn today from a wonderful, wonderful gentleman, trained, experienced hypnotist. I am excited because he is helping renew lives. He is helping people heal through hypnosis. So much ado, Tommy, welcome. How are you this evening?
Every day is a good day. That's my motto. Every day is a good day. I'm glad to be here with you.
Yes, it is. So I want you to let the world know, the audience know, who are you? Tell us a little bit about you.
Well, first and foremost, I am a man of faith. I'm a Christian and follower of Christ. That is my identity, pretty exclusively since the last year and a half or so. I've really found my faith, and I'm also father of 6. I got 6 kiddos, and a husband to an amazing wife who supports me in all that I do, and I'm a hypnotist of 20 years now. It's 20 years that I've been doing hypnosis, and I've been a performer internationally, and I've been helping people internationally through hypnosis and hypnotherapy, and so yeah, I mean that's I could go on for, I'm 37. I could tell you 37 years worth of stuff about me, but that's the bullet points.
Wow. Well, before we dig in more to what you do, tell me your meaning of resilience.
I would say resilience is essentially the ability to pick yourself back up as many times as is required to pick yourself back up. Yeah, I think that's about as simple as I can make it.
That's good. No, that is good, because that's what it's about. That is what it's about. You take a hit, we want you to get back up. That is very good. So let's dig into this, what you do. So for our listeners that's new to hypnosis, what exactly is it? What exactly is scientific hypnosis, and how does it differ from, something that they probably seen, on the internet, or they probably call it stage hypnosis, or the common myths? Give us a little education, please.
Sure, I'd love to. So hypnosis in a nutshell, just to break down definitions of what that really is an amplified state of focused concentration and relaxation. That's really it. It's, you'll hear a lot of us say, I've done a lot of stage shows. I did one just a couple days ago, actually. Got hired for a party, and it was a lot of fun. Really fun group of people. But it will explain it like this. If you've ever been on autopilot for something, that's hypnosis. You ever been driving your car and you're going along on the freeway, and at some point you realize that you have no recollection of any stop signs or or any red lights. You just know you got there, and you're pretty sure you arrived without hitting anybody or running any red lights or whatever. Like, that autopilot, that auto mode is a form of hypnosis. If you've ever been engaged in something emotionally that's fictional, that's hypnosis. It's that part of the brain really that's just below consciousness that is if we think of the brain like a computer, we've got the RAM, right? That's the stuff that we're seeing on the screen, the functioning things that make things look like we don't have to constantly type in code and all that kind of stuff. It's all of the flash, all of the things that allow us to interact that is on the screen. That's the conscious mind. Everything beneath that is subconscious. Right. And that includes the unconscious mind. You know, the unconscious is in that below consciousness. But that subconscious, that's where every process takes place. We don't see all of the ones and zeros happening, the on off of binary code that's happening on a computer. We don't see that. Right. But it's still happening nonetheless. We don't see the programs constantly running in the background, even though they're there. And that's what's happening in our brains as well. The misconceptions around hypnosis are it's mind control or it's fake. It's just, you know, someone acting. Maybe it's weak-minded people who are just really gullible and going along with things. And what they find is that's just not true. So getting into, you know, maybe differentiating scientific hypnosis against others, I'm the hypnotherapy program director for a nonprofit called the Tom Silver Foundation. And one of our mission objectives is to regain a sense of legitimacy in the world of hypnosis, in the world of science, right? In the world of medical science and things like that. So we focus on what is the evidence saying? What can we show in terms of measurable outcomes, in terms of measurable processes, not just, you know, wishful thinking, you know, here we just need to make you think differently. We make you feel better. It's so much more than that, right? Forgive me. I have come down with some kind of a cold or something. I'm coughing and, you know, a little stuffy. So just, you know, bear with me there.
No worries.
I mentioned sick kids, right? So my house is just germs. But, you know, the scientific approach is really focusing on scientific linguistics. So generally speaking, when I tell someone, you know, when I'm working with a client or something, if it's a stage show, it's a little different. Stage is, it's meant to be flashy. It's meant to be theatrical. Right. It's a very different environment. But when I'm working with a client one-on-one, or I'm working with a group session and I'm working with them on, you know, pain management or addiction overcoming, you know, smoking cessation or phobia relief or whatever it might be, I'm not using words like sleep because they're not going to sleep.
Right.
I'm changing my verbiage to make it so that the process is defined. They know exactly what to expect, and they're just following instructions at a different level than they are consciously. And
that's
you
good.
know, there are a lot of different schools of thought in hypnosis, and a lot of it has gone into the world of experimental work, which I think is good. I think we should be getting into that world of seeing where are the limits and what can't be done and what can be done through hypnosis. I think having that information is crucial. I think a lot of times hypnotists have clung to the idea that it's just something mystical and magical and you know, and this isn't me hating on any other hypnotists out there at all. This is, you know, some of them will hand people a crystal and say, you know, hold this crystal and you'll feel your desire to smoke go away. And they equate it to the crystal doing that. And they don't emphasize. I straight up tell people what we're doing here is we're creating an anchor. We're creating a bookmark to a feeling in your mind. That's all we're doing. Now, I don't give crystals out, but it's that kind of thing. And so when I say scientific hypnosis, it's really just it's focusing on what is tangible and what is measurable and
Mm-hmm.
building off of that. Because
Right.
previous to this current generation of hypnotists, it was primarily medical doctors who were doing hypnosis.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
So, in a nutshell.
Yeah. So let's talk about your journey in this, though. Let's talk about how you've curated this to what you believe you're helping people do. Let's talk about your main reason of hypnosis, how you're helping others to live better. Yeah.
Yeah, so it's a kind of a long, interesting story. I'll make it as quick as I can for you. I got into hypnosis because I didn't believe in it. I thought it was fake. I had a friend who I was singing with at a Christmas festival up in Holly, Michigan. It's a wonderful Christmas festival. It's actually going on there right now
Nice.
until the end of December. It's called the Dickens Festival, the Holly Dickens Festival. It's a really, really nice festival. But so I heard him talking about having done a hypnosis show like the week before, and I had seen these shows before. I was in high school. I was a senior in high school. And I remember essentially calling him out and basically saying that stuff's all fake. Oh, I can't believe you do that stuff. Whatever, you con artist, whatever, you know. And it was in good fun, you know, he was a friend. But he had this little like smile and this little knowing like, okay, Tommy, you willing to be wrong? And I'm like, sure, hypnotize my buddy over here. And so he hypnotized my friend Andrew, and Andrew came out of it. I thought he was messing with me. Andrew was like, oh, this is cool. Can I learn this? Can I trade services or something? And I learned from you. And I was like, all right, I'll be the guinea pig. We'll see how real this is. And it worked. And
Oh, wow.
I ever since then, I just was fascinated by it and really interested in taking it further and learning more. And I was primarily doing stage shows. And what I found was I felt a little bit like a fraud in doing that. And it wasn't because it didn't work, and it wasn't because I wasn't good at it, but it was just something nagging me in the back of my brain. And it ended up being that my ego was out of whack. Having been in rock bands my whole life and in the limelight my whole life, my ego was not healthy when it came to that sort of thing. It was like, no matter how much praise I got, it wasn't enough. Okay, but tell me specifically how great I am. You know, it was like, I could say on a scale of 1 to 10, am I a 10? Well, you're like a 9.5. I'd focus on that little half and go, why am I not that half? Why wouldn't it be a 10? I thought I was a 10. And it just like, it was just not healthy for me. And you know, I had considered getting out of hypnosis at one point because I had started finding my faith. And I had been told that hypnosis and Christianity do not mix, that it was a very dangerous thing to be dabbling with, that it opened the doors and the gateways to demonic realms and the spiritual realm, and so on and so forth. And as I was finding my faith, I was like, well, the one entity in the world I don't want to be on the wrong side of is God. And
Right.
so if it comes between, if hypnosis is coming between me and God, hypnosis has got to go. But I didn't want to just stop and just assume based on what people had said. And so what I did was I sat down with my pastor and we talked about it. And I asked, you know, is this allowed? Are we allowed to do hypnosis in the world of Christianity? And he said, you know what? I honestly couldn't tell you because I don't know enough about hypnosis to give you an answer. He said, I wish I could be more useful in this, but I think you should dive into scripture and see what it says. Dive into the word and see what it says. And I hesitated because I was afraid of what I was going to find. And then I finally said, okay, I'm going to get into this. I'm going to dive in. And so I used the experience of doing that actually to, I wrote my book. It's called Transformed, like a trance, Trance. And I treated it like, okay, if I find one verse that says I shouldn't be doing hypnosis, I'm done with it. I'm done. I don't need it. I'll find something else. God's going to lead me. And I was praying on it, and I kept it was like I kept getting this pull to do more shows when I would pray. And I'm like, I'm not just openly praying to the universe. I'm praying to Jesus. Like, I've never heard of the devil answering a prayer to Jesus. So that would be, I'm sure it probably, there's games that he plays with us, but it got me really curious. And so I was like, all right, I'm going to really dig into this. And the more I dug into it, and I dug into the science of what hypnosis is, that is provable, and I dug into the scriptures that had been thrown at me, the verses that had been thrown at me, it became really clear that it was not anti-biblical to practice hypnosis or to go into hypnosis, because hypnosis is a natural state of mind that we all experience on a daily basis. It happens to be the scientific term for that state of mind. But we've seen the meaning, just like the meaning of so many other words, get warped over the years and twisted. And I said, okay, well, this is interesting. So I broke down verse by verse by verse by verse by verse. The Bible calls us to meditate. Okay. Yes. Meditation is hypnosis. It's kind of like, all squares are rectangles, but not all rectangles are squares. Right. So it's like that with meditation and hypnosis. And it's just it was really, really fascinating to dive into this, because it's a lot of things about like, the verses that were thrown at me were things like talking also about necromancy, and it's in Deuteronomy. I'd have to dig through, but it's in Deuteronomy where it talks about like fortune telling and necromancy and like speaking to the dead and like all of these different like witchcraft things that we think of. If I say fortune telling, I'm so tired, but anyway,
no worries.
But it talks about a lot of that stuff. And I'm like, well, hypnosis is none of that stuff. It's not mysticism. So it doesn't fall into that. Then I get into 1 Peter and it says, be sober-minded. Your adversary, the devil, prowls around every corner looking to devour you like a lion, right? And while, yes, they're talking about being sober-minded, especially in drink and things like that, it's also spiritually sober-minded, right? And so I was thinking about that part of it. And I go, well, people under hypnosis are not being made to do things that they would not do morally. So it's not altering their moral code. It's not changing something inside them that is making them a different person or fall prey to something. Right. And so it's not, it doesn't have anything to do with being sober-minded. At any time, and I've had this happen many times, where someone is in that state of hypnosis, profoundly in that state of hypnosis, and they come out of it. I had a gentleman at the event that I just did when I was doing a show. He was rocking the stage. He was in it. And then he had to go to the bathroom. So he went to the bathroom and he was done. And I was like, okay, well, I'm glad you didn't go on stage. That would have been a problem. But, if he had been really non-sober, we'll say, that might not have crossed his mind as easily. Right. I mean? We see drunk people do far, far worse things.
Yeah. So talk about one of your clients, hypothetically, I don't want you to, put anyone's business out there, but like talk about how you use your faith with helping the client. I don't know, with a challenge that they're going through.
Yeah. So first of all, I share my faith story, my coming to faith story, with anyone who will hear it anytime. I've always been the kind of guy that was the quiet Christian that didn't want to ruffle feathers, that didn't want to tell someone their beliefs are wrong, that didn't want to sit there and be it, because I was like, I'm not a Bible scholar. I don't know all of the answers that they're going to ask me questions about. And so I was afraid to approach it. And so it came down to, I just need to share my coming to Jesus story. And what I do is I always ask people when I'm going to work with them, I ask them, do you have any faith? Do you have a specific faith that you follow? And it's been about 50-50 that they're Christians that I work with. And whenever it's someone who is Christian or open to exploring Christianity, I offer to utilize prayer in our session. And so I will pray with them before the session begins, and I will pray strategically throughout the session. So while they're in that state of mind, because when we're praying, when we're doing it right, we are in that state of hypnosis. If you look at an EEG, if I'm hooked up to an EEG, you will see the second I close my eyes, the brain waves drop right into this like mid alpha range. And that is the entry point to hypnosis and receptivity. And when we get into, one of the phrases I use is hypnosis is amplified receptivity. And
that's good.
What are we doing when we're praying? When we're really praying, now we can just be talking at God, and that's fine. Sometimes we just need to offload things to God and talk to him. But we also want answers. We also want to feel, God, be in me, be in my life, be present here with me now. Let me feel you and know you. And that is that state of mind.
Yes. It's a trance.
It
really is.
Scientifically speaking, that's what it is. And so utilizing prayer, it goes so beautifully with it. And I believe, even though people are working with me from all over the world who don't have Christian faith necessarily, I believe whatever healing is taking place is coming from the Holy Spirit. That's not coming from me. I'm not a healer. I'm not a magical, like mystical kind of person. I am simply a vessel. God has shown me in my lifetime, these are skills I've learned. These are the ways that I can use these skills to help people out of a situation and into a new situation. And I just treat it as the Holy Spirit working through me. It has nothing to do with me or my ego. I am not attached to it myself at all. It is 100% going to come from God if they're being healed. But that's how I incorporate the two. Yeah.
So to me, it's like another avenue to help get your healing. Some go to counseling and therapy. You can still do that. But also, if you want something deeper, I just feel this is deeper than me. I feel like this helps you get deeper to what you need help with. What you need your healing in the area, whatever you're dealing with. You're an assistant.
Yeah, think about it this way. When we go to therapy, because I've gone to therapy in the past, and I had one therapist who was like, and he just kind of let me talk, and that's all it was I was just talking, and he didn't really have much to say. And then I had another one who, she was actually a Christian, and she was amazing. And she was like, we're not going to draw this out. I'm giving you a month. We're going to work together for a month, and we're going to work out what's going on with you. And I'm like, that's a good therapist. You shouldn't have, it shouldn't be like this constantly, nickel and diming.
That's good.
And I see we got a comment here.
Yes, she puts it better in words. Look.
Yeah.
She says, I'm a believer. She says, I'm a believer that when you are in a state of hypnosis combined with prayer, it can help reinforce your faith.
Yes, the hypnosis itself is amoral. There is no morality to that state. Just like you can pray to false gods, prayer itself is amoral. But when you are praying to the true God,
Yes.
you get more connected with him. And hypnosis is amoral in that sense of, if you can use it to, trick people, just like you can use average words to trick people. You can use
Right.
media and social media to trick people. It's the tool is not the problem. It's the people who are using it, and in what way is it being used.
Yes, that's good. That's good. That's
Yeah.
good. That's good.
I lost my train of thought there for a second, but
It's okay. But you wrapped that up. That was good. That was good. So you mentioned earlier that you with the Tom Silver Foundation, right?
Mm-hmm.
So what inspired that partnership? And how did you expand I guess your mission to train and transform others, or if you are doing that?
So there's a few pieces to that. So as I've been in this faith journey, I've been praying before doing anything big, before investing in anything, before big decisions need to be made. I've been praying about it and waiting for some kind of answer. No answer means no action. And so there was a group of people that I was in contact with. They run a business called Hypnobiz in a Box. They're such cool people. Sean and Melanie are amazing people. They run they have a company called Everything is a Win. So anyone in like a counseling profession or whatever, they have a whole package that basically makes it so that it's like a turnkey startup. It's the most amazing thing for anyone in this field. So I was going to invest in that. I was newly self-employed. I couldn't really afford it, but I also couldn't afford not to if I was going to grow.
Gotcha.
And so I was praying about it, because it was like this rock and a hard place I was between. And so I'm praying about it, and there was this feeling of not yet. It wasn't a no, it was a not yet. I'm like, okay, well, fine. So I go back the next day, and I'm getting ready to pay for it. I'm thinking, okay, today's the day I'm going to do this. And I'm praying before I hit send or submit, and it's another not yet. I'm like, okay, is this me telling myself that? Am I psyching myself out? Like, am I just afraid and I'm hearing what I want to hear, or what And so it was in that moment that a friend of mine that I had also met at this hypnosis conference had a podcast episode where Tom Silver was a guest. And I had that on another screen. And that came up, and they were talking about the Performing Hypnosis Summit in Las Vegas, Nevada. And I was like, I want to go. I can't afford it this year. It's my plan for next year. I'll go 2026. It'll be fine. And then he said he was going to be at this year's Performing Hypnosis Summit. And I was like, oh, Tom Silver is a legend in the world of hypnosis, all over the world. He's trained medical doctors all throughout the world, China and the Netherlands and England and Australia and I think India, like all over the world. And he's the celebrity hypnotist. He's the one who was on TV every single time you saw a hypnotist on TV. It was almost always him. He was the halftime hypnosis guy, doing for the Chicago Bulls and all that, and just an absolute legend. And I was like, oh, he's going to be teaching us how to do this halftime hypnosis stuff and make a bunch of money doing it. I'm there. I want to go. I'm like feeling this pull, like, oh, there's something here. And I'm praying about it. I'm like, is that what I'm supposed to do? And there was this like, smack me in the back of the head. Yep. And I'm like, all right. I look up pricing, and I'm like, that's going to be the same price as I was going to spend on this. I can't afford that. Like, this is going to be, it's going to be double what I was going to be spending on Hypnobiz in a Box. I'm like, I can't do that. And also can't leave my pregnant wife home with 5 kids for 5 days. But I prayed on it some more, and I talked to my wife, and she told me I'm going. There's not a chance I'm not going. She's not going to let me not go. I'm like, okay, we'll figure that out. And then I literally opened up my web browser, went to booking.com, and there happened to be a deal that it was half the price that I was looking at doing it my own. And so I got, for the same price as I was going to get Hypnobiz in a Box, I got the Performing Hypnosis Summit. And day one, when I got out there, I'm standing there, and up the escalator comes Tom Silver, and I introduced myself to him, and instantly we became friends. Instantly. After that conference, it's a whole long thing, but after that conference, we were on the phone for 2 hours a day, every single day, just
Look
talking,
at
and he was
God.
teaching me stuff, and he's the reason I'm a hypnotherapist, because I was only doing stage stuff primarily. I would work with
Right.
people when they wouldn't work with anyone else, because I thought I needed some kind of special training and all this kinds of stuff. I
Yeah.
thought I wasn't qualified. And he goes, "No, that's stupid. Tell me about your tell me about your style." And he goes, "I've been doing this since before you were born, and I'm
Wow.
telling you, you're doing it the right way, based on what you're telling me." And so he trained me in his methods and validated me, and then he went into hospice, and we stopped talking, and he had cancer. And also kidney failure. And so a friend of mine who his name's Israel, we also met at that conference and became close friends, and we talk at least once a week on the phone. But he was messaging me going, "Hey, have you heard from Tom lately? I haven't heard from him. Is he doing okay?" And I've been emailing his wife and checking in, but it was like, I don't know, he's not responding much. And he goes, "I want to fly out and see him. If I get the hotel room, can you get like our transportation and stuff?" I was like, "Done. Let's do it." So we flew out and surprised him, and hung out with him for 3 days, and he died 3 weeks later.
Wow.
And in that time, we got close with his wife. And since then got to know his daughter. It's his stepdaughter, but his daughter.
Yeah.
And we formed the Tom Silver Foundation in his name. And because he did so much work for people, like he was working with celebrities, big name celebrities.
Yeah.
But what he never told people, his wife knew, and she told us, he would do so much pro bono work for people who were needy. Like they had no money. They were just addicted. They were alcoholics. They were on narcotics. He was helping people with cocaine addictions and things. And
that service, I love it.
He did it for them because they needed it. He was like, don't pay me. Don't pay me. And he did that for me. His training normally would go for $10,000 if he's working with an individual. And he didn't charge me a dime for my training with him. And and just a beautiful soul. And so we formed the foundation to keep his mission of continuing the scientific endeavor of hypnosis going, and that validity to it, and bringing about more studies and more methods, and also getting his methods to be more mainstream because they're so effective, and also to help those in need. I was in Las Vegas 2 weeks ago working with veterans for Veterans Day at no cost to them, veterans and first responders. I was helping them with pain relief. And I took 3 days, 2 days of doing that. I was there for 3 days. But no, it was just It's this idea that giving to people who are just in need, just if they don't have the money, sometimes I can't help somebody who doesn't have the money, but I do my best to do it every single time.
Totally. God calls us to be wise. Yeah. Totally. This is amazing, Tommy. This is amazing, because what I want people to know is that God wants to be a part of everything that we do. And if it's ordained with him and we seek him first, baby, he is going to put a blessing on everything that you do. He is going to line it up. He's going to connect the things. And my God, I believe that's what is happening for you, Tommy.
Well, can I share something really quick? Because this I think is it's important for the piece about sharing your testimony too with everybody and anyone who will hear it. Because there's a woman I've been working with on the other side of the planet. I'm not gonna get any more specific than that. But there's a woman that I've been working with, and she couldn't afford to pay me, but she messaged me out of the blue. Didn't know this person, no connection to them. They added me on Facebook, and then they messaged me, and it was just a very vague, like I thought it was one of these scam things, like we see so much of. And I respond to everybody. I'm going to give you a chance. Prove
Yeah.
to me that you are a scam. If you are a scam, I'm done with you. But I'm going to have a conversation with you. Even if you're trying to sell me something, I'm going to treat you like a human.
Right.
And so she just said, "Can you help me?" And I said, "Well, maybe. I don't know. Let's talk." We got on a Zoom call and we talked, and she's sharing her issues. And I said, "Well, let's figure this out." I gave her my pricing and all that kind of stuff. She goes, "Oh, that I can't even come close to that." I'm like, "Okay, well, let me pray on this a little bit." And
Right.
I prayed on it, and I felt a pull to help her at least to do one free session and just say,
Right.
let's just see what we can do.
Mm-hmm.
And it was like, during the session, everything was great. Right after the session, everything was great. A couple days later, it would just fall apart. And I was like, oh, I hate that. And so I was like, I'll do another one. And then after that other one, I just, there was something inside me that was like a little light bulb doing this, like, you're close to it. You're close to it. And it wasn't about like even curing her or anything like that. It felt like God's voice in me saying, you haven't brought up religion at all. Why haven't you talked about me yet? And she didn't know Jesus. And so nothing was working for her, but she kept coming back and saying, "Oh, I know you, I feel like I'm being pulled to you to help me. It's just not working." And I said, "Can I share my story with you a little bit and just why I'm doing what I'm doing and why I feel like I'm helping you? And
so good.
Are you open to that?" And she was so open to it. And we're crying together and I'm telling her my story. And I said, "Would you be open to me utilizing prayer to Jesus directly, specifically to Jesus? This is not an open prayer. This is to my Lord and Savior. Would you be open to us praying together in his name during the session?" And she came out of that saying that she had never felt that secure in her life.
Wow.
And we have since been continuing our conversations and praying together. And the time difference is tough, but working on getting a Bible into her hands. And
What a
it's not an area that is very supportive of Christianity in the world, and therefore can't really go to church. There's not really that option. So shared like the live stream link to my church, and I said, and look online. There's other ones too, but
that's like kingdom building is awesome.
But I think you said thinking about God and all that we're doing. It's when we hide God from what we're doing, or think of it as like it's what we're doing. It's not what God is doing. And it starts to become about us. I mean, that's Adam and Eve all over again.
Wow.
But I think, I like to share that because I'd never had anything like that happen in my life. I had never shared with somebody. And then I actually recently another friend came and said to me, he goes, "You're not allowed to laugh at me. So keep your mouth shut when I tell you this." And this guy was practically a Satanist, that I knew. And he goes, "Started going to church." And I'm like, "Why would I laugh at you? I think that's amazing."
Wow.
Yeah. Oh, I've gotten so passionate about that. And
that's good. You're building. This is what God gave you, and you're using it. It's your purpose, and I am loving it because I am one to help people start their healing journeys. That way it leads to their purpose, and it might be turning their pain into purpose, and that's what you're doing. You're doing what God calls you to do. And I love it. I love it. When we met and we spoke, it was just joy. It was just joy to me. I was just like, oh my God, look at you, Lord. You really want your hand in everything,
He's going to use you one way or another, right? You're going to be used for his glory in one way or another. Either it's an example of what not to do or an example of what to do.
Yes, right.
You make that choice. It's not, he gives us that choice.
Exactly. So, Tommy, tell the people how they could reach you, what you do, your book. Give us the spiel, your last words, so we can know.
Yeah. So I know it's on the screen too, but if you check out hockeytownhypnotist.com, that is my main website, hockeytownhypnotist.com. I do a lot of there's actually a whole like schedule your call. I do free consultations with everybody. You know, we get on a quick little 30-minute Zoom call and just kind of talk through what you want to work through. I always tell people it's not can hypnosis help with this, it's how can hypnosis help with this. That's
That's
the
good.
correct question, because that way we can answer it more accurately. You know, if someone says, can hypnosis help with cancer? I'm going to say yes, but that sounds like hypnosis is going to cure the cancer. That's not what I'm saying. I'm saying it can help you with pieces of what you're dealing with, you know. And so what way can it help? Well, here are the ways that it can help. And so, you know, I like to go through a lot of that with them in that call. And so that's right there on my site. It's got a whole schedule thing. And my book, you could find it through my website as well, but it's transformed. I can, I'm happy to send that link to you as well. And you share it however you want to, but it's on you can find it on my site. And then, I would just say, you know, even if you have questions about hypnosis and what it does, and if you want to experience it, if I specialize highly in pain management. I mentioned how I was in Las Vegas working with veterans and first responders. I had some people who have been in pain for well over a decade since they left the services, chronic pain that was just like a heavy weight on them every day. And when we were done, within about 20 minutes, tears were streaming down their face. They were so relieved. And it was just gone. And it wasn't like I was like waving a pocket watch in front of their face, you know, getting sleepy. I was literally just saying, hey, let's close our eyes and let's find it. Let's locate it. It wasn't anything special. It was just a conversation. I had one guy out of pain in 3 minutes, completely out of pain. And it's one of these things that I'm so passionate about, the pain piece, because I was dealing with such extreme pain when I fell down my basement stairs. And someone helped me. And so now I actually train hypnotists around the world in pain management and how to do this effectively and very, very quickly. And so I would say, send anyone in pain my way. You know, if I can do it for free, I'll do it for free. If I can't, we'll figure something out. I love helping people. I feel like that's my calling, is to.
Totally. I appreciate you. Wow. Well, thank you so much. As I tell all of my guests, Tommy, thank you for your time, because we don't get it back. Tell your wife thank you, because she is your support as you watching the kiddos, because I know the daddy that you are with your kiddos. So I appreciate you. I genuinely am. Thank you. Thank you so much. And man, I got educated. I really got educated about this. And I just thank God for crossing our paths, together.
Amen to that.
So we can learn more about this. And again, knowing that God wants to be in everything that we do.
100%.
Yes, thank you. So yes, you're so welcome to my resilience family, y'all. This has been wonderful, just delightful. So again, his specialty, guys, pain management. If you want to try the hypnosis, look Tommy up, guys, to help you out. It is Men's Health Month, so my men out there, take care of yourselves. Go see the doctor. Okay? Yes. So thank you for listening, my resilience family. As I always say, stay well, stay safe, and always, 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 always stay resilient, guys. Until next time, blessings, family.